Welcome back to RBKD, a Motown-esque Thursday edition of RBKD. And I got to tell you, my man John is back there twisting and tweaking the dials, but also spinning the jams on a Motown-esque Thursday edition of RBKD. You can always be a part of the show. Just hit us up via Twitter. That's the best way. I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. Kevin Dunn at Kevin Dunn01 in the Twitterverse. John is at JS Reichel in the Twitterverse. You can hit him up. It's REICHEL for those out there who can't spell it. But man, you've had the Commodores. Who else have we had on there so far? We had a little...
The Sunshine Band.
Casey and the Sunshine Band. Also a jam, so...
Bobby Caldwell.
Man,
right now.
And that is...
They've all been classics.
Okay, now Bobby Caldwell, does he have a lot of jams, or is this his one jam?
This is his one.
That's what I figured, because you don't hear the name Bobby Caldwell a ton, but this is a great song.
It is.
Tupac actually did a song with this beat, too. It's really good. It's one of my favorite Pac songs.
What Pac song is that?
Oh, I think it actually is like what would you do for love, or what you wouldn't do for love, something like that.
Pac's the GOAT.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's the same beat, same. He uses Bobby Caldwell in the chorus and everything. It's really good.
Hey, can we get back to the Lubies discussion before we get to the NFL? Because, John, I got to call you out a little bit. This is funny how you get regional on stuff, but John was like, hey, we're getting a lot of stuff on the Lubbies.
The Lubbies.
Lubbies.
I know.
So there's no
Lubbies.
There's no Lubies in the Northwest?
There's none. No, the cafeteria genre of restaurant really isn't a thing up in Washington. The closest thing is like Chinese buffet, but everyone's got that.
Yeah, as you should.
Yeah.
Man.
We'll see if that can
we had,
exist after the pandemic.
Piccadilly and, was it Wyatt's Cafeteria?
Wyatt's, yeah.
Yeah, we had like 3 or 4 different cafeteria
But
chains
Lubies
in the
was
South.
the one.
Lubies was the king.
Our
queen.
Lubies had good fried chicken.
I've never had Luby's fried chicken.
I had it.
Yeah.
Because I used to go with Durwood and Lucille. That was a big thing. And we used to take out Vina there.
Is that your great-grandmother or grandmother? Save the butt for me. That's the one who likes the turkey butts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great-grandmother. And she would have been real. I mean, she actually would have been the heart of depression. So you kind of, with her taste,
you
got it a
eat
little
everything.
bit.
Nothing goes to
But there are
waste.
even generations right below that. And Jerry would have been that. Jerry, I think, is Jerry like 80, 78, 79 around there?
Yeah, Jerry's close to 80. If he's not
so he would have
already
been,
80.
obviously, after that, but he would have been, you're growing up with certain things and certain tastes.
Yeah.
And your mom's making those meals.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, it's all about what you kind of grew up with.
And for Durwood and Lucille, Luby's was, hey, we're doing it up right.
Yo, no, Luby's after church. Luby's the big meal. People be dressed up at Luby's, man.
That was
Sunday best.
They would.
Sitting down at Luby's.
So John brought this up, and I was thinking the same thing. When your now wife and was your girlfriend at the time, and you took her in there, and right away she smells it and said, we're not eating here.
She literally walked into Luby's.
Is that old person smell, or is that the Luby smell? Because I always thought the Luby smell was good, but I remember some of the old person smell.
I don't know what it was. I thought it smelled
Been
great.
gay and just that stench.
I was excited about Luby's. Yeah, I don't know, but she does have a more powerful sense of smell than me. Her olfactory is pretty damn legit.
So the allergies are good for her.
Yeah, but so she can smell a ton.
Calm that down.
No.
She can smell.
No, when we first started dating, I was still smoking cigs on a regular, and man, I could smoke one cig 8 hours before I saw her, and she'd be like, "You smoked a cigarette today." Brush teeth, everything, didn't matter. Throw on some Axe, she would smell it. She has a great sense of smell. Also, why, can't no funny business be going on. She would smell it. Even if I sat down with a stripper, she would probably smell the stripper on me.
So perfume ain't.
She would smell the stripper on me, no question.
Okay.
She just has that kind of sense of smell. She knows.
All right.
It's really, really weird. It's going to get me in trouble one day. But to that point, yeah. So maybe she went in there, and you're right. She smelled the old people. I smelled the Lubies.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
the Lubies smells
delicious.
good.
All she smelled was old people. It was like, all right, get out of here. She smells like old people. So
old people doesn't.
I don't mind old people.
I don't mind old people, but there's a smell.
Yeah,
some, not all.
I'm getting old, so maybe I got a smell. I'm getting older.
The good thing
I don't wear cologne. You wear cologne?
No,
you don't wear cologne either.
No. When you get old, you don't care. I used to wear cologne.
I don't wear cologne. I'm close to being like Matthew McConaughey and all natural. No. I mean, I wear deodorant. I wear secret deodorant, strong enough for a man, but that's it. I used to wear Cool Water. Cool Water was the last cologne I wore.
Really?
And how long ago was Cool Water cool?
Oh,
15 years ago?
20.
All right. Not 20.
Were you wearing Jabos with that?
But that's probably the last cologne I probably wore. I'm not a cologne guy, but I do smell pretty good because of all the cocoa butter and lotion that a black man must apply. I still smell pretty good.
Black guys
and a
cheap.
secret
You're like,
deodorant.
I'm not wearing cologne. I'm like, hey, you've got cocoa butter all over you.
I smell like chocolate.
Everyone loves cocoa butter.
That's true. I'm with you. Secret deodorant and cocoa butter have been my smell for a while, and I got to tell you, I get compliments from the ladies.
I know you do, and I'm afraid to wear cocoa butter. You know why?
You don't smell like a black man?
No, we're in 2021. It's appropriation.
No, moisturization.
In 20 years, that could be,
No, moisturization
not
is
as
not
bad,
appropriation.
but all of a sudden I'm getting black-faced on that. I'm like,
no.
I was just trying to.
No, you've dated black women, and so you know.
Yeah.
Black folks, we moisturize several times a day.
You guys take care of your skin a
That's
lot
what people
more
are
than
like,
we do.
oh, black don't crack.
Except
well,
around the sun. Around the sun, you'll get white people like Chad with a T-shirt on and reapplying 5 times.
You need
Dude,
to.
you're not even in the water.
I don't want to see my Caucasian brethren sunburned.
Like lobsters.
Take care of yourself. Yeah, you always. I was in Tahoe for the wedding, and all the white people were red. I don't want to see that. So take care of yourselves, man. Put on the sunscreen, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I don't know how we got to this conversation. We were talking about lubies, and now we ended up on
because we had some good
sunburn.
text on that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's if you want to get that old person lubie smell, go into Lubies right now because they just opened for dinner. 4 p.m.
Yeah, we call that supper down south, sir.
Oh, sorry. Again, I'm still learning the ways down here.
Supper is earlier than dinner, and I used to go to supper a lot. You get the Luann platter. It's cheap. I think the Luann might be like $6.
Luann platter was cheap, yeah.
It's like $6. And you know what? We were so cheap. Shout out to Henry. It was so cheap. Pops, we would make our own lemonade. So we'd pass up the lemonade, but we'd get the free lemons with the water, and then we'd go get sugar packets and make our own lemonade at the Lubies.
Wow.
That was a family thing. Oh, yeah.
That's it. You know what? At Lubies, you weren't the only one.
Pops was frugal. Oh,
man, that's smart, though.
I didn't see a lot of people doing that. I think we might be the only family that did that. We might be the only family that was making our own lemonade.
I thought you were sneaking in lemonade. Hey, you went there, you took what they had, you made it.
We really did. And I didn't know if it was sneaking, but Pops, we'd make a ton of lemonade at the table. We had 20 free lemons. And they had lemonade there for you to take. But Pop said, I think it was like $1.50. And Pop was like, nope.
We're not doing
that.
It's in front of us for free. It's in front of us for free.
So we perfected our lemonade recipe at
That
Lubies.
is fantastic.
Oh,
dude.
Anyway. Okay, let's get to some NFL.
We got some games tonight.
Yes, we do. NFL preseason games tonight. I guarantee some of these guys grew up on some good Lubies. You got the Washington football team at the New England Patriots. Okay, maybe I'm the only one who thinks that this game has got some sexy storylines, but I want to see Cam Newton and Mac Jones. And I think Belichick's, he's just crazy enough. He'll play both his starting quarterbacks. Not they're both starters, but they're fighting or battling it out for the starting quarterback position. And I think you're going to see Cam Newton and you're going to see Mac Jones. And I'm a little interested to see the Patriots, period, because last year they had so many opt-outs. They had more COVID opt-outs than any other team. And, of course, they lost Tom Brady, and they just looked like a shell of themselves. So I want to see if this, and I know you can't tell a lot from the first preseason game, I get it, but I just want to see if they got some swagger about them. Yeah. Patriots lost their swagger instantly when Tom Brady left, but it wasn't just Brady. He had a lot of opt-outs too. But that just looked like a team that didn't have that kind of same confidence. They didn't play with that same winning swagger that you usually see.
They didn't have that belief.
They did.
You know what? No matter what happens, we're going to win, and we're going to have 11 wins this year.
Great point.
And we're going to be in the playoffs, and we're going to be something to deal with. Yeah, they had, as you mentioned, a ton of opt-outs. You lose Brady, you lose Gronk. That had kind of been heading that direction. But, yeah, this is going to be the final couple chapters for Bill Belichick, probably, in terms of, and he may coach for another 10 years, but post Brady, he wins that Super Bowl. What do you do from this point? Because this really is their kind of transition, rebuilding year. And let's see what they look like. I want to see what Mac Jones looks like. I don't care if it's 4 passes.
Josh McDaniels with Mac Jones. I think that could end up being a winning formula for him. I'm a big Cam Newton guy, but Cam Newton, to me, is now a limited quarterback in the things that he can do. And I'm saying that Mac Jones is not Cam Newton. He doesn't have the dual threat ability, not even that much functional mobility. But I think Mac Jones gives you a chance to stretch the field with the passing game. And I think the Patriots, the strength of the Patriots is probably the offensive line.
Yeah.
Their offensive line is going to be one of the top 5 best O-lines in the league. I know that sounds crazy, but go do the research on it and break it down. Our offensive line is going to be really good, so I think they'll be able to run the football. And we know, they always have running backs, whether they guys get injured or whether they find some guys on a scrap heap. The question for them is, do they have enough weapons on the outside to help a young quarterback like Mac Jones in a new system? And I'm not necessarily sure. I'm not sure they do.
I don't think they do
now.
Yeah, and Brady had that problem the last 4 or 5 years, right?
That was one of the things that Brady
just got so cheap outside and felt like that they could recreate that position like they do out of nothing with other positions on that team, and it just wasn't there.
Yeah. Now, I will say that they went out in free agency and they made some moves. So they got Nelson Aguilar.
Mm-hmm.
They got Kendrick Bourne, I believe, also, right? Another wire. No, I take that back. I'm wrong about that. They got Jonnu Smith.
Okay.
So I apologize. I was wrong about that. They made a lot of acquisitions, but it was Jonnu Smith, I think, was the biggest acquisition for the Patriots. And, if you get into, like that tight end offense they had when they had Gronk and they also had Aaron Hernandez, where they basically could go 12 personnel and they could, if you wanted to match up with them defensively and go with a sub-package nickel or dime, they would run the football against you. And if you wanted to try to run a base personnel, 40 personnel, 3 or 4 linebackers, try to stop the running game, they could spread you out and they could put Gronk in the slot, put Aaron Hernandez in the slot, and then they can throw the football downfield. And I wonder if they want to get back to some of that, because remember they drafted tight ends.
Yeah.
Like the last 2 years, they've been drafting tight ends.
And added them, too.
And the Patriots did sign Nelson Aguilar. They signed Kendrick Bourne.
Hunter Henry.
Hunter Henry as a tight end. So, maybe that's the route they're going. Maybe they're going kind of back to that formula for the Patriots.
Yeah,
so
I think they are. Yeah, and then what was it? Devin Asiasi, who they, I think, drafted, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Those are 2 of those guys.
Yeah,
they're trying to get back to that.
They're trying to get back to it. I'm not really sure if it's gonna work, but like I said, they got, they got some wet. They got Jonnu Smith now, and they got Hunter Henry, and they drafted tight ends. I haven't seen it yet, but with a quarterback like Mac Jones and with a veteran offensive line, I could see them reverting back to that formula for a young quarterback to help bring them along. But we'll see. So I'm interested to see that tonight. Washington football team. Anything sexy with the Washington football team? Other than, Ryan Fitzpatrick is probably going to be the starting quarterback for them.
Yeah, and I feel like I've had more people that are excited about that than I am. And I get why you look at this team with Chase Young, Jonathan Allen, Payne, Sweat. They're going to be, they're loaded up front. They've really tried to take what the San Francisco 49ers did, build with those front four. You've talked about building from the secondary in, which a lot of people are doing, and I think that may be the way to go.
But not them.
Not them. And you can do this the right way. I think the Niners proved that. So we'll see how good the secondary is, but really it gets back to Ryan Fitzpatrick, who I just don't really believe in. They've got Scary Terry on the outside, Curtis Samuel.
They got some weapons on the outside. They got some weapons. Now. Yeah,
so if Fitzpatrick can just be what he is usually early on in the year before film gets out on him, then they could be tough. And Sam, we talked about the Patriots. Adrian Phillips going to be the starting strong safety, I believe. Planning on it, and then Sam Cosmi at right tackle.
Interesting. And I'll tell you this, though, about Washington. Antonio Gibson, I've been a big fan of his ever since he came out. I think he came out of Memphis, if I'm not mistaken.
He's a Memphis kid, yeah.
Memphis, man. Talk about maybe a running back factory. But, man, Antonio Gibson is a freak physically, and if that offense can force teams with that speed on the outside with Samuels and Terry McLaurin, if they can force teams to play over the top, back those safeties off because they're threatening to take the top off the defense, man, that guy, he's going to kill a 7-6-man box every time. So that would be the formula for them. I think that's why they wanted so much speed on the outside. I think they want to stretch the field with, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitzmagic, and see if they can rekindle some of that Fitzmagic with them.
What about the Steelers? Where are you on them? Because I heard you talking about their offensive line, and I'm with you on that. You can look at the outside guys, and they can be sexy, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to block with an old quarterback.
Yeah, they've been making some changes on the O-line. I think that's the concern. They got a first-round running back they drafted in Najee Harris, so maybe their intention is just to pound the rock early on. And if they can pound the rock early on, they can make life easy on Ben Roethlisberger. there was just no creativity really with that offense last year. If you're going to look at play action pass percentage, you're going to look at RPO percentage, the Steelers are always toward the bottom. You're talking about the modern cheat codes that people are implementing, or at least offensive minds are implementing to try to make life easier on their quarterbacks. Steelers don't use a ton of that. Talking about pre-snap motions and shifts, right? We're talking about play action pass, RPO rates, a lot of those things that now have become more commonplace to give quarterbacks an advantage. Steelers don't do that. I think you're going to see more of that, more intentional cheat code usage, if you will, for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. I think that's something you're going to see a ton of. Makes life easier on Ben Roethlisberger.
Defensively, Stephon Tuitt, a lot of names you're going to recognize. Cameron Hayward on the line, and they got T.J. Watt, Devin Bush. They've got some talent, and obviously they still have Minkah Fitzpatrick. So you look at all three levels, they got some guys that can play. I'm probably as up in the air on the Steelers as I am with any team in the NFL, because it all comes down to the moves they made on the offensive line. If they're really good, this is a playoff team.
And I think Mike Tomlin's a hell of a coach.
I do too.
I know some people, they think he might have overstayed his welcome, if you will, there with Pittsburgh. He's been there a little too long.
Or that he's overrated.
He's overrated. I don't think any of that is true. I think he's just a hell of a coach. But this is a pivotal year for them, because I think it's like Ben Roethlisberger's swan song. I think he might be done this year.
Really?
Right? You don't think Big Ben looks like he's done?
I think he's got a year or two left, but I'm just so used to these guys continuing to go.
I think he's done it. I'm a little surprised they haven't tried to address the quarterback position. But where they draft, usually, they don't really draft in a position where you can go after a franchise quarterback. But there are other ways to do it. You can trade for a franchise quarterback. You can free agency, so an opportunity there.
Take one in the 5th or 6th round?
Take one in the 2nd or 3rd round and try to roll the dice on one. Yeah, they don't seem to be worried about that. So you're right. You're probably right. He's probably got 2 or 3 more years with the way that they're approaching the position. But I don't trust Big Ben anymore, and mostly because of the offense. Like I said, the offense doesn't do him any favors as an aging quarterback.
No.
Right? That's the same thing with the Patriots. We talked about the Patriots and Tom Brady last year. Not last year, but 2 years ago. They stopped providing him with advantageous cheat codes and personnel around him to help him. Now, I would say the Steelers, they draft really well for Big Ben, though.
They do.
They put pieces around him.
Yeah.
He's got, Juju Smith-Schuster, and I know James Washington wants to be traded.
And they have for a long time.
Yeah, they got some wide outs now. They've always been that group.
All right, Eagles, last team we're going to see tonight. Look, if Jalen Hurts is your starting quarterback, I'm putting you 3rd in the NFC East. And maybe I'll be proven wrong. They got Joe Flacco who's a backup. And I like Hurts a lot as just a young man and kind of everything he stands for. I think he's a winner. And I could understand trying to use him in certain packages. But if he's your starter, I think we saw that late last year, that this guy's just not a starter. They've got some people, some pieces around that. But are you higher on Philly than I am?
They got a new coach.
Yeah.
Right? OC from Indianapolis, I believe, is now the head coach there. I'm not sold on him. I mean, I like Jalen Hurts more than most, but I liked him playing a specific role. I thought he was going to be used as a weapon in situational football, 2-point conversions, short yardage, red zone, that type of thing. Now he's being thrust into the starting quarterback position. If they build the offense around his skill set, I think he can be successful. If they try to pigeonhole him and put a square peg into a round hole, it's going to be a long season for them. Devontae Smith is already dealing with a little bit of an injury. Remember what the big concern was? He's a little light in the butt to be playing in the NFL, to be drafted that high. He's already dealing with some injuries. I don't think that's going to be a concern, but you're not going to see him in this game.
No.
Yeah.
He's going to have some weapons. I mean, Jalen Reagor, Greg Ward, we got a couple Texas guys there. Obviously, Goddard is back. We'll see how good the line is. Got to watch out for maybe tonight, Hassan Ridgeway, who is a backup defensive lineman for them.
Man, Greg Ward stuck around.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, he did. He made that transition. Quarterback at Houston. I remember Major telling me, he's like, no, this guy's going to be a whiteout at the next level. But kind of one of those winners, too.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the top 20 here quickly.
When you put that uniform on, you better come to work.
It's the Horn Top 20. Brought to you by Allstat Beer. No impurities, no regrets. Number 12, the USC Trojans.
I grew up being told not to like them. because Bob Dunn's a Notre Dame guy. That is a big-time rivalry. But this song's just fantastic.
It's a great song.
And I love the USC Pete Carroll, Norm Chow version. That's my favorite USC of all time.
Well, because I don't know a lot of the other USCs. Yes, it's mine too.
Well, yeah, and look, you had Rodney Pete in the 80s. They had some teams, Keyshawn in the 90s.
What those O.J. Simpson USC
I wasn't around
Trojans.
for that. I wasn't around
I heard
for that.
They were really freaking awesome.
They were.
I'm just joking.
I know. O.J. was, though. And they were.
Yes, they were. Yeah.
What about this team? 5-1 last year. Clay Helton, we were laughing, in his 7th season. And they've got a schedule that will work for them. We'll see how good their offensive line is. But they return 8 starters on offense, Rod, 8 starters on defense.
The schedule is probably the best thing for USC this year. At least it's the reason that a lot of people are picking them to be a double-digit win team. The toughest game they'll have is at Notre Dame, but they start off San Jose State, Stanford, at Washington State, Oregon State, at Colorado, then Utah. I mean, they can start off 6-0. Right before that bye week, pretty easy. They could go into that Notre Dame game undefeated, 6-0, off of a fresh bye week.
Yeah,
right, and that could be dangerous for Notre Dame. I don't know what Notre Dame's got before that game, but that could be potential, trouble for Notre Dame. Them having 2 weeks to prepare and to get healthy. But then after that, Arizona, at Arizona State, at Cal, UCLA, BYU. I mean, I think USC could be a 10-win team, and they made upgrade. You could argue nobody in the country upgraded via the transfer portal as much as USC did, and they did mostly with Texas talent.
Yes, they did.
A ton of it.
A ton of Texas talent, and you could even throw in Brew McCoy on that, but really it's Keontae Ingram, who chased off Stephen Carr, because they've got Malapai,
right,
who's actually their more of a physical running back. That's going to be a good combo. We talk about the Texas combo. That's going to be a really good combo, and if Keontae can take care of the football and be a little bit more consistent, then that was a really good pickup for them. Also, Xavier Alford. You mentioned him yesterday at free safety. Does he kind of compete for that job? Where is he? Malcolm Epps, I believe.
Forgot about Malcolm Epps.
No,
great point.
I'm telling you, man, there are a lot of guys that have made that move over. I think Alford would be a guy I'm looking at to see if he can actually get some playing time.
Yeah,
Epps, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, and I think he probably will end up like 3rd or 4th on the depth chart there. And with the air raid, usually traditional air raid, you don't see the tight ends assert themselves. But with some of the more recent adaptations of the air raid, Lincoln Riley's air raid, you've seen the tight end become a focal point. So I wonder with Graham Harrell, could the tight end be a focal point? If it's a weapon, I think he'd use it, but I'm not sure Malcolm Epps is going to really be that type of weapon. Todd Orlando will be, in my opinion, potentially the biggest factor for USC this season in terms of the additions they made. If Todd Orlando can replicate a season similar to what he had in 2017 here at Texas, I think USC could easily win double digits. You might find themselves in a Pac-12 title game. But if he has a season calling plays defensively like he did in 2019 at Texas, then it's going to be a long, bad season for USC potentially, because they're going to be in a lot of shootouts.
Yep.
Think about Todd Orlando's system, though. Usually it takes a conference a year or so to get used to how he's using personnel, because he will shift like he did at Texas using the Lightning package, using 6 DBs in 2017, copying the Iowa State model, and that looked like a new look defense. But once the film was out, he didn't have a counterpunch. I think USC could benefit from that kind of fresh look and that really kind of fresh scheme that he's going to bring to the Pac-12 this year.
I agree. Good point. Sean Snyder is their special teams coach, and that is, we know Sean Snyder, right? Kansas State.
Oh, is he that Snyder?
That's Snyder.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and so that's what his dad did really well, and that's actually what he does really well. I don't think he should be a head coach, but that could be some hidden yardage and hidden points for them.
That's a
with
nice one.
Pretty talented roster. Let's get to one and done coming up next. Chris Davis, the Texan, who was actually on campus a couple different times trying to play at Texas, retired today. Happy for him. He's a great guy, but it does have me thinking, what are some of the worst sports contracts ever?
Unlike that 5-star recruit at Kentucky, he's been here, and he's going to stay here. It's one and done time. Here's Kevin Dunn.
Let's go one and done in right now. We got a baseball story. It's really about contracts, because I want to get into some of the worst contracts of all time. Chris Davis is a Texas guy, born and raised in the state of Texas. And Chris Davis is a guy that I was really excited about, Rod, coming out of high school, because he had signed to play for the University of Texas and came here and was on campus and then had some, I think it was grades, and so had to go to a JC, right? After the JC, tried to come back to Texas. That didn't work out. Ends up signing and ends up heading to the next level, and really started with the Texas Rangers. This guy was a big dude. When you think about like a big slugger from the left side, 6'5".
Looks like a superhero.
Looks like a superhero. Yeah. And man, he could launch some baseballs. And then was in a trade to the Baltimore Orioles. And this is when Davis really started to kind of get it going a little bit. He hit 53 homers in 2013, 47 in 2015. Damn. Yeah, no, he had some. I mean, he finished, I believe, third in the MVP voting in that 53 homer year. And it's not like he was hitting 330, but his average was good enough. And yeah, he would strike out, but he was definitely worth it. And so Davis went to Baltimore in 2011 from that trade from Texas. He hadn't hit more than 21 homers in a season with the Rangers, but then hit 33 in that first full season with Baltimore, and then really started to go with those 53 in 2013 and then 47 in 2015. So Baltimore said, you know what? We're going to give you an extension. And they gave him 7 years for $161 million. You know what that is in Major League Baseball, Rod?
Guaranteed.
That is guaranteed.
With the lifetime health care.
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean, can you believe that?
Lifetime
health care.
Lifetime.
And then you get everything with that.
Yeah.
And so Davis was also incredibly liked in the clubhouse. Apparently, he is just a fantastic person. He has finished 3 times on the top of the Roberto Clemente Award, which is given out to the best citizen. And I mean, remember, Roberto Clemente died trying to bring relief back to his home country in a plane crash, right?
Yeah.
So, like, there are just some guys that, man, they get a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, and they may get a little bit of extra money if they're really good with the community and they're just really good people in the clubhouse.
Oh, yeah. So, it's called added value to that contract. We get a guy the fans love.
Exactly.
It'll actually bring us closer as a franchise to the community. Yeah,
so in 2014, he hit 196, did have 20 homers, and then he hit 221 with 38 homers and had a major league leading 219 strikeouts in 2016. 2016 was the first year of that really, really big contract that he had. But then at that point, everything just disappeared. And so, look, the 196, you're hitting below the Mendoza line. You're wondering, all right, where's this thing going? But hey, you can maybe get that back up, get those homers back up. We're paying you for power. Hit 220, hit 230. If you hit 240, we'll love it. He hit 168 in 2018, and he went 0 for 54. Hit an 0 for 54 streak in 2019.
That's UGLY.
It is. I mean, and
alibi for that.
And he's getting booed, right, because he's got that big contract. It just got really ugly. I felt bad for him. The fans liked him, and yeah, the community service will go a long way, but you can't have streaks like that, right?
Nope. Not when you're being paid the big bucks.
Not when you're getting paid the big bucks. So he hit 115 over 52 at-bats last year. Look, everything was just kind of done, and Baltimore knew they were going to have to swallow this contract. He's going to get all of it. They're going to defer some of it, and they're going to spread it out over time. But he retired today. He had hip surgery, and he has not played this year and was hoping to come back. But even if he came back, we kind of knew what Chris Davis was. This was one of those where Baltimore spent a lot of money, and they don't always do that, and they end up getting screwed for it.
Who signs worse contracts, NBA or Major League Baseball?
I would say in my lifetime, overall, Major League Baseball, but recently it's been the NBA.
NBA, yeah.
NBA, you get some Jags that you know are Jags, and it's like, we got to sign them.
Some jabronis.
Like 3 years for $85 million?
Yeah, just guys who are making $80 million on the bench.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
So I just want, but Major League Baseball's got that old FU money, so.
They do, and I've got a list here, and there's tons. So you can text us, Specs text line 337-3776. And the reason there's so many Major League Baseball guys on my list is exactly what Rod just said. It's some of that old money. And Albert Pujols is a good example of that. So Pujols signs after maybe the best 10 years anyone's ever had to start a career off with, right? But he's 32, and the Cardinals were really smart. The Cardinals knew they had to throw an offer out there, but someone was gonna kill that offer.
Yep.
But they could tell their fan base, hey, we tried to sign him, but we're a mid-level club here, or market, and so we're not going to sign him, which is really smart. You don't sign. The Cubs didn't sign Rizzo, and I'm fine with it. I've done studies on it, or looked at studies and done research on it. First basemen that are in their early to mid 30s, especially mid, but early 30s, don't re-sign them. There's something about their body, and they end up getting bigger at that age, and usually it just goes downhill pretty quickly.
They got the numbers to back it up, like the running back in the NFL, where at 27 they peak and then they start to depreciate.
Yes. The numbers tell you at 32, 33, don't sign them for that big deal. You may re-sign
You may sign them, but not for that long-term big blockbuster deal.
Not for that deal. So the first deal that comes to mind with baseball was Kevin Brown, who was his pitcher. Got a 7-year, $105 million deal. He was the first guy to get $105. The next closest offer we found out was $40 million below that. Whew. Not only did the Dodgers give that for a guy who had been lights out before that, but also was a little injury prone, and boy, would that come to light. They gave his family in Georgia 12 charter flights round trip to L.A. His agent did a hell of a job. But $40 million is the next offer.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that market, so they went all in 7 years, $105 million. He didn't give them.
So they set the market then.
They set the market.
Which is what you don't want to do with these deals. You don't want to set the market.
You do not want to set it. Yeah. And that was one of those that people look back on and just go, oh, my God.
You really should be looking up the agents, because these are the guys that really are the gals that should get all the credit.
Who do we talk about on Bobby Bonilla Day now? We talk about his agent.
Oh man, that guy should be part of the family. He should be at every family reunion.
No doubt.
Every holiday they should be sending him Christmas cards. The family should love that guy.
So Bonilla is one of those guys. Bonilla got a deal till 2035 where he gets $1.5 million every year, and the Mets have to pay that. And Bobby was blowing through money at that age. So his agent knew, hey, we could get all that 30 up front or whatever it is, and you're going to go through it. Brilliant. Also knowing your guy. Vin Baker, here's a basketball guy, 7 years, $86 million. But even that last year, I guess he had severe alcohol issues. And so they knew that, but then they still re-signed him. And Vin Baker, I think, ended up getting that under control. But in terms of the deal, it was a really laughable deal, as we saw Vin Baker. And even towards that last year. Jacoby Ellsbury got $153 million and really barely played for the Yankees. Guaranteed.
And the NBA money's guaranteed too.
It is.
Disrespect them.
It is.
Guaranteed.
Including Joakim Noah, who was 4 years, $72 million. I can tell you as a Bulls fan.
I was going to say Chicago. Yeah.
We knew he was shot. I loved him.
Why'd they sign him?
Because they're the Knicks. That's it. The Knicks are on her a couple times because they signed Phil Jackson to the $60 million.
I remember that.
And just trying to bring him back, and Jackson was a disaster.
He gave him nothing. Yeah,
he was a negative.
He was, because he hurt their ability to recruit in free agency.
Yes,
because he was an old fuddy-duddy. He was calling. Is that when he called LeBron James's posse? Was that the posse comment?
Yeah, that was the posse comment.
Oh,
and that was the least.
That wasn't even that bad.
His worries.
Yeah, that wasn't that bad.
Who else? I mentioned Albert Pujols, which was just awful. Jamarcus Russell got $32 million guaranteed for what he gave them. Now he's the first overall pick, so that's not so much the contract; that's the decision. At that point, you have to give the contract.
Yeah, he was slotted there, but in terms of return on investment, that's one of the worst.
What was the best story there? Whenever they gave him video,
they gave him a fake. They gave him basically, they were giving out DVDs of film. He's supposed to be watching film, so they actually gave him. I want to say they gave him like a movie, like, I don't know, it's like National Lampoon's Vacation or something. And they asked him, "Did you watch the film?" And he was like, "Yeah, watched it." And it's like, man, we gave you a freaking movie.
And that cover two, that cover two's tough. So he wasn't doing anything.
He wouldn't even crack it open. Come on, man.
He got his money. And a lot of that was from throwing from the knees, too.
Yeah, that's 70 yards he threw from his knees. That was big.
How many times have you been throwing from your knees?
Yeah, who's made that much money on their knees?
All right, here's one more. Bill Walton Now, this is crazy. So he's with Portland, and he had all types of foot injuries. And when I think of a bad foot, or bad feet, I think of Bill Walton.
Everybody with a big man.
Everyone with a big man, right? And he had all types of problems, but that didn't end well with Portland. And so he goes to the San Diego Clippers. And so, look, it's all relative. So you hear this now and you laugh. But at the time, this was huge. 7-year, $7 million deal, which was gigantic at the time. He was so bad there and really just didn't play. But they got so bad, and that was their big spend right there, that they had to have Walton be dominant. They ended up moving to L.A. It was the San Diego Clippers before that.
Man, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was doing some research today, and I saw that, and I thought, okay, I got to mix that one in.
Rabbit holing.
There's a lot of them. Grant Hill, 7 years, $92 million, and speaking of bad feet, and he was just done. So a lot of coaches, too. So I mentioned Phil Jackson. You can throw Charlie Weiss on there. Looking at one right here, Steve Spurrier.
Yeah, Charlie Weiss's agent, though, deserves some credit.
Yeah.
Because remember, when he got the Kansas job, Notre Dame was still paying him?
They were still paying him.
And then Kansas and Notre Dame ended up paying him after he was done with that.
When he was at Florida.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, it was bad stuff. Barry Zito, 7 years, $126 million. There are a lot of bad ones that I went through today, and way too many because we're running out of time here. But, man, just remember, and I tried to do that as a Cubs fan this year when they were trading everyone away, that Bryant's not worth $300 million. Rizzo's not worth even probably what he wants, and Javi Baez isn't either. So it's easy to get fanboy about everything and just go, sign him! But then you're the same fanboys bitching when you're caught in a situation that you got.
Fire the GM! That's a terrible deal!
How did you re-sign him? How did you re-sign him? So there's your one and done today. If you've got any really bad contracts, text us. Specs text line, 512-337-3776. Let's have some fun here. Off the record, J.R. Smith. He may have been part of one of those contracts, but now he's trying to do his best Rodney Dangerfield, although he won't be swimming.
DD Mangudu.
Once it's turned on, the sign will spell out Deli Cat Essen.
Well, I don't get bring the in comb.
Well, congratulations. Continue good sex in the Big East.
Thank you, Jimmy. And boom goes the dynamite.
It's time for another edition of Off the Record.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
Welcome back to RBKD. Time for another edition of Off the Record. This is a very strange off-the-record story. Yes. I had to check the Onion to make sure it wasn't fake. Then I saw Adam Schefter tweet about it, and I was like, all right, I guess this is real. So J.R. Smith, the NBA player J.R. Smith, NBA champion J.R. Smith, he claims he's enrolling at North Carolina A&T University, and he is going to pursue a degree in liberal studies.
Good for him.
But also, that is really good for him.
He signed with North Carolina. I remember him during the McDonald's All-American game.
Oh, really?
And the thought was he's definitely going to North Carolina, and he blew up in that game. He was like, no, I'm going pro. That was when they could go straight pro.
Go straight to pro. There you go. Well, he's 35 years old, going back to North Carolina A&T State University to pursue a degree in liberal studies. But he's also waiting on an NCAA waiver to sort out his eligibility because he wants to play on the golf team. How about that? Yeah. He's going to play on the golf. I mean, he's publicly stated it several times. He loves golf.
I see why you checked the Onion.
I had to make sure that this thing was real.
I believe he's good at golf. I just don't. It's the whole neck tattoo thing.
Neck tattoo. He's pursuing golf. Yeah. Don't try to put J.R. Smith in the box. Okay.
I am.
Don't be trying to put him in the box. All right.
And look, after Tiger, the neck tattoo was more of that than he's a brother.
And he must really want to do it because that's nothing. He's not going to get a lot of. Well, maybe he will get a lot of headlines for it, but I don't think he's doing it just for attention or headlines. I think he genuinely actually loves to play golf.
Because he would also, it wouldn't be North Carolina A&T. Like I think he's doing this because he loves golf.
That's what I'm saying. Like I think
he's got to.
Yeah, he'd go to a more renowned a more respected, a more popular.
John Fields.
More popular. I'm talking about sports, like athletic program.
Yep.
Athletic program, not the school. The athletic program.
Yep.
He'd go there, and then he'd get way more attention for being on that golf team for a more, I don't know, a more popular university.
Yeah.
But he's not. He's going to North Carolina A&T, not only because he wants to get his degree, good for him, but he's like, no, I want to play golf while I'm here. I actually want to compete. I genuinely enjoy playing the game. So some people think he's doing it just for headlines. I don't think he's doing it for headlines. I think he just wants to play.
That's pretty cool.
It is really cool. I didn't know he was that much of a golf enthusiast.
I had no idea.
I mean, who did? So apparently he plays in pro-ams and all these different golf events whenever he gets a chance. And apparently he's really good.
He's a scratch golfer?
Like really good. Like,
okay.
No joke. He's actually not, he's really freaking good. That's what the word is. I don't know about handicaps and all that, but I've heard his handicap is pretty telling as to how skilled he is as a golfer.
Wow. And so if there's one other sport that you would have come back to college, let's say you left early and would have been able to play something else, what would it be?
Oh, wow. Man, I'm just not that athletically talented overall to just jump into other sports. If I could,
Quidditch, you would have been flying past them with a broom.
Quidditch, yes. If we're going to do make-believe sports, then yes. I'd have been awesome at Quidditch.
Killed them.
But actual sports, man, I was fast, but not track fast.
Okay.
Track fast is a different kind of fast.
Yeah, that is.
It's a different world of fast. Basketball, no.
But you could have gone D2 and run track.
Maybe. These two guys are still.
What about long jump or something like that?
Dude, I'm saying people underestimate how explosive track athletes are.
Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah, we've talked about it.
People see like a 10. You say, that guy ran a 10.6 or 10.5, and they're like, 10.5. It's like most human beings' body would fall apart if they tried to run a 10.5 or 6. You know what I mean? Like legitimately, like it really would. I'm just so it's. Yeah, I don't think I could do it.
You didn't play tennis or golf or anything like that?
I don't think I could play any other sport other than football at the college level.
And baseball, they tried to get you out there, but you didn't like catching the ball.
I was scared of the ball.
Yeah.
Moving at such a high speed.
Lots of us were.
I know the glove is supposed to protect you, but...
See, I wasn't scared with that.
If you don't move the glove fast enough, you get hit with the ball.
So you were scared on defense.
I was
never scared on defense.
I was scared on defense and offense.
Yeah.
The ball's,
at the plate, I know what you're talking about.
Always moving very fast towards your face. That's all.
Towards your face.
It seems like it's always coming towards your face.
You got a glove.
Exactly. So you got a glove.
You got a glove.
If you don't move the glove fast enough, you get hit in the face.
All right.
Exact reason why I wasn't good at baseball either. I couldn't get over that.
Couldn't get over that. I got hit in the face a couple of times, like with, you try to catch a grounder and you would have your glove at the wrong angle.
Yeah.
Oh, and it would hop. It was like skip.
I'd get some hops.
And hit me right in the face. And as a young player, I just couldn't get it. I did it like 2 or 3 times and I was done. I was like, all right, I'm done.
I didn't trust these people who were my age throwing the ball and not hitting me when I was up the bat. I didn't catch these like newbie pitchers. I was like, no way, you're not going to not hit me.
Yeah.
No way. I don't trust you.
I love the guys who threw strikes.
Never got comfortable at the plate.
I don't care if the velo's high, throw strikes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have that be in the back of my head.
Got to be comfortable with that ball screaming at you. Like towards your face, and not panic.
There's a crazy maniac element to good baseball players.
It is. It's got to be. No question.
Especially at the college level or at the top level.
Totally agree.
And then there are the guys that will lean in with their elbow on 94, like in college, West Coast guys.
Yeah,
we've had some here in Texas. Like you are.
Oh, you're crazy.
You're nuts.
Well, and the pitchers are nuts too. Because they'll be like, let me back this guy up. I'm gonna throw him a little music, throw him a little chin music, and back him up. It's like. Dude, if you're off by 2 inches, you can kill him. And it's like, I got this. I got this.
If I kill him, I kill him.
You know what I mean? So baseball,
manslaughter.
I'm with you on that about baseball players, man, because I figured that out early on. Like, this ain't really my game. But then I'm a little crazy because I decided to go play the game.
But say
that you can get concussions on any given play and probably can break any limb on any given play. And to me, that was safer than baseball.
And you got banged up with your shoulder and all that.
To me, that was safer than baseball. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Oh, yeah. That's how you know I'm warped.
If you're swimming and playing basketball, I get it.
Kids, play baseball. Guaranteed money earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if you can get over all that, then do it. Which is why I think pitching's the way to go.
Oh, but you got to have a cannon for an arm.
Yeah, I know.
You can't just be some jabroni. I want to go pitch.
Especially now.
Yeah, you got exactly.
Yeah.
You got jabronis throwing 95, 97.
Right.
Yeah, so I couldn't do it. No, I got respect for
What a weak arm.
all the other student athletes. So, yeah, J.R. Smith going to
That's a cool story.
North Carolina A&T, the historically black college, and he's going to play golf. It's going to be pretty cool.
All right. 2 in, 2 to go. Texas football. We're going to get back to it. Coming up next, some camp notes. We have an All-American team and the Horn Top 20 countdown.